so great seeing the film last night. It brought me back to my childhood. Like I felt like right back being a 13-year-old girl, and I loved every second of it.
You look like a Meg.
Yeah. Can we get that on camera? Ava DuVernay, I look at Meg. But tell me about Meg, because I feel her character, there's been so much that happened, I'm sure, on set. So talk to me about what it was like bringing this to life on set and just turning around and being like, there's Oprah.
Yes, it was all amazing. Of course, Meg is just a young teenage girl trying to figure out what she wants to do, who she wants to be, and on top of that, she has these challenges and these faults that are kind of getting in her way of that. So when she meets the missus and goes on this journey and she really embraces the light from within and becomes the light for herself and her brother and her father, she really becomes the light for the world. So it was...
Wow, that was great.
I know.
That was really good.
Oh, thank you. No, but it was really powerful and moving for me to be able to experience that and step in Meg's shoes. And then, of course, Miss Oprah was in the background, so that was great.
And then, Ava, I love that you did this film, because I feel like every one of your films has a totally different feel and a story. And I love that you went to a kids movie next. But I feel like, how do I put it? There's so many stories that don't get told by us, that don't necessarily feature an African-American protagonist. After A Wrinkle in Time, where would you want to see filmmakers go next? Fantasy, Victorian, what would you want to see?
Yeah, no, I believe that the filmmaking landscape should reflect the real world, and filmmakers of all kinds should be able to tell the stories that are in their art. So often, though, the industry says, no, you can only tell these kinds of stories, and you look like this, and you can only tell this, or you're from here. And so the idea that women, people of color, people of all ages, I mean, part of my story is not just race and gender, it's also age. I didn't pick a camera until I was 32. So it's, you know, it's about possibilities, and this film is specifically for young people. You know, they're not cynical, they're hopeful, and it's speaking to them in a really turbulent time. So that's our hope with it.
I love that you said the 32, because I started doing this a little bit later,
Okay.
and I look to you as an example of that you started a little bit later. So what would you say to those folks that say, you know, at 28, 30 plus, and like, could I really do this? What would you say to them to motivate them to say, you know, you can?
I think, you know, I learned from my mother and father, it's all about pushing your boundaries and taking risks in your own life. You know, Selma was a narrative film, then I changed it up and made a doc in 13th. They were like, wow, you make docs now? Then you make Selma in 13th, they're around criminal justice. You're like, you know what? I'm going to make a movie, a fantasy movie for children, right? And after that, who knows what I'll do? But you have to keep pushing yourself. It's so easy in this world to put yourself in the box that the world wants you to be in, the industry wants you to be in, that your family wants you to be in, society wants you to be in. Push against it and keep moving forward on your own path. And that's what I've tried to do. That's what she's doing.
Yeah.
That's what you've done. And that's what we have to try to do.
I love it. And then also, Storm, I hate to say it, but looking at your IMDb, you've been blessed. Steve McQueen and Ava and then Judy Greer. You've worked with a lot of women and a lot of folks of color. Do you appreciate that at I mean, I would say young age, but you're a veteran at this point.
No, absolutely. Like you said, it is a blessing, and I'm so grateful to have worked with so many incredible people and I learned so much on each set I go on. So having those learning experiences and then meeting new people, and at the cusp of that, I'm living out my dreams and doing what I love to do. So it's a blessing, like you said.
Thank you guys for chatting with me. I loved it. I felt it was so beautiful, especially your makeup. And
we agree.
And Reese, in your beautiful introduction at Golden Globes, you talked about being in the chair for 4 hours. So I want to hear tales from the makeup chair. I want to hear exactly what you guys did, what you listened to.
English muffins. I want to start with English muffins.
Yeah,
I want to start with, you'd come in and you would be talking to Oprah about her experiences and her food. And she's like, oh, I had the best English muffins. And we would be listening to that. And the next day,
they all arrived.
Of artisanal English muffins from
That's
a place
right.
in
Napa Valley.
Napa Valley.
I have them shipped in.
Oh my
and
God.
When a toaster magically appeared, and jam, and so that was treats. It was like daily treats, right? Courtesy of Oprah.
And then we started doing treats for the crew. Remember?
Treats for the
There was-
crew.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it was always like, how are we going to treat the crew this week? That was fun. And then, you know, then we
Will it
talked.
be Pinkberry?
Yeah.
Will it be,
And I think we started, I was actually surprised that, I mean, Oprah isn't such an incredible superstar. And the fact that she, like, got ready with us every single day. I know. We were talking about things like the VMAs, the movie awards and stuff. And she's like...
They are the chitty chattiest girls you've ever seen. Oh, my God. They're
and
like
then
two
Oprah'd be like,
Kathy dolls.
do you know what Nelson Mandela once told me?
Oh, I know.
And we were talking about J-Lo.
Oh, my gosh.
It was great.
Any tunes that y'all listen to? What was the vibe? Ed
was a
Sheeran,
DJ.
Beyonce?
Yeah.
She was a DJ in the morning. Yeah,
Me and
sometimes.
my makeup artist Molly like to listen to music in the morning, like Sam Cooke or
Oh, they had a big blues thing going on for a long time, and I go, can we lift the vibe,
Yeah,
ladies? Can we just take the vibe up? Can we
would
get
change the
right
music.
into the 21st century? Can we bring us... Yeah.
I love that.
So maybe, yeah, it was fun.
Well, you ladies play the misses, which are such a big part of the book, and then also, again, with the movie, I just loved their characters, and especially yours, Mindy, because you speak in rhyme. And what was your favorite quote? Because if folks don't know, you know, your character speaks in basically author's quotes or famous quotes.
Which is hard to do, may I say.
Yes.
You're acting the whole time.
I think there's two. I mean, I really enjoyed my Lin-Manuel Miranda quote at the end of the movie. I thought that was good about tomorrow there'll be more of us.
I cheered on that one.
Which is nice. And I mean, I think actually Hamilton is something that Ava has talked about being inspired by for this movie. And I love the musical. I think we've all seen it. And I just love that she included Lin-Manuel Miranda, who's like modern day poet. And it's amazing. But that's probably my favorite quote.
There's a quote. Is it you who says something about your wounds are your something? I can't remember.
Yeah.
You remember that one?
Yeah, use your fault is where your light is within your fault. Like within there. I thought that was so beautiful.
Yep.
Well, then you brought up Ava, and that's kind of where I wanted to leave it because I feel all of you probably signed up for this with her in mind. So, and you
How'd
guys
you know?
100%.
Well,
100%.
especially with you. I mean, you've worked with so many great directors. All of you ladies have. What is her process that makes it so different and so great?
She just sees the world through her eyes, which is gorgeous and extraordinary, and has incredible scope and reach. She dreams big, and you can see it all over the screen.
And she casts based on not just who's going to play the best character who will fill that role, but who will fill the spirit of that role and who will bring that spirit to the whole of this film. So she's looking for the spirit. She's looking for the soul of the people that she's hiring, and surrounding herself with that kind of energy that always, when you surround yourself with the best energy, it takes you higher. That's what she does.
Chris, I was at D23 when you got on stage and you said the reason why you wanted to do this film was Ava DuVernay. Period. So tell me about her and what you saw and you were like, I gotta do this.
Yeah, I didn't know the material. I didn't know the book. I wasn't really, the pitch sounded, I don't know, I just wasn't into it at all. And within 10 minutes of meeting her, I was sold and super excited. Couldn't wait to read the book. I guess it was, she's a powerhouse of a human, and her just kind of bundle of energy is uniquely and especially hers. But I think more than that was her, it's like her searing desire to put something beautiful into the world. She wanted to make a piece of art that would shine brightly on the frequency of love, and I was like, I am all for that, and sign me up. So it was the scale and breadth and depth of her vision that I was most excited by.
Excellent. And then Gugu, I mean, Irreplaceable You, Fast Colors, A Wrinkle in Time. Do you sleep? This is a busy year.
Yeah, it's been a crazy, I've been working back to back, and it's that thing, I think, as an actor, you have control over your performance, but in terms of the distribution and the timetable of when everything comes out, it just so happens everything's come out in the last couple of weeks. But yeah, no, it's really, really exciting, and I'm really, really thrilled, for Wrinkle to be sort of the biggest scale of all of those projects and this incredible cast, and as you said, Ava, who's someone I've long wanted to work with.
And all three female directors. That was really what I wanted to ask you about is, you've had a storied career, done a ton of stuff, but does it feel unique to kind of do those all together with female directors?
I've always worked with female directors, I have to say, and I know, like, women are having a moment or whatever, but at the same time, for me, it's you know, we were talking about this earlier. I'm excited to be at the place where we can just say the director, you know, and that's just what it is. And you know, I think what's unique about every female director that I have worked with is the point of view and the, you know, awareness, as you were saying, of where we are culturally and the responsibility of telling these female-driven stories. But you know, for me, I think, you know, it's getting more and more common, and it's the world we live in. So I'm proud.
All right, thank you guys. Have a great day.
You too.
All right.